All right, fire them up!
So let me get this straight. We're going to have AI take over being judge, jury, and executioner for every capital crime. Yeah, nothing can go wrong with that. So Chris Pratt stars right alongside Rebecca Fergeson in this not so distant future tech thriller in which a officer has to prove that he didn't murder his wife, but he only has 90 minutes as he's strapped inside this chair, and the AI judge that's in front of him is going to execute him if he's not able to do it. And I say not so distant future because, let's be honest, every single day we look on the news or in some type of magazine and we read about some industry trying to move completely toward AI, get rid of the human element altogether. And I have to give the movie credit because the way that the AI controls not only every piece of cell phone footage that is uploaded to any type of social media, every camera that can be possibly tapped into through Wi-Fi or the like. I love how the way that they actually show you that, yes, AI can do these sort of things. And it is obviously a warning about just how bad AI can be and that we need to watch out for these sort of things and that the human element should never be taken out of our everyday lives, that we need actually more complete human interaction and less AI and technology between us. I also like the acting in the film. Rebecca Fergeson as the AI judge with Chris Pratt sitting in the chair being the person that's going to be executed. I like the back and forth between them. It's not the best acting we've ever seen, but, you know, they are serviceable. It's not really that terrible. And you can pretty much say that about everybody in the movie. It's a little bit hackneyed, but the script itself is really thin. And you can tell that it's thin. It's not one of those things where you can look at the film and say, hey, there's more to this. And why aren't these people give me a little bit more emotions? But for what they have within the script, they're okay. And also, even though it's called a thriller, it's not really thrilling. It's not a lot of action in the film. I mean, I would say the first 30 minutes of the movie, it's more just complete setup. They're telling you a story. They're putting everything into position. There's a few type of action elements within it. And then when you get to the last, I would say 20, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, I should say, of the film, there's a bit more action. Now, the problem with the action in that last 15 to 20 minutes, it's not that great. The CGI in it is pretty bad. It's very, very noticeable. But for me, the last 15, 20 minutes kind of makes waiting for the action worth it. You get the twist at the end. You figure out that everything is not what it's supposed to be. And it's very predictable. I will honestly say that you know exactly what's going to happen. The bad person is obviously the bad person. And it's not the AI because, let's be for real, Hollywood is trying to shove AI down our throats and tell us, well, it's not really that bad. It's how humans use it when in totality, AI really isn't that great. And if a lot of this does sound familiar, like you've seen this film before, you kind of seen this film kind of split up into two. One movie was actually really good and one movie was really horrible. And those two movies are Minority Report and that War of the Worlds that starred Ice Cube. Now, it's just like Minority Report where it's basically one person against the system and that person has to prove its innocence. It's very much like Minority Report, but very dollar store-ish, I should say, version of Minority Report. And I brought in War of the Worlds because what you have is the main character in one place and all of the emote has to not come from what the person is doing and has to come from the person's face because they're in one place and can't actually interact with the rest of the world. And that's why I threw those two in there. But like I said, War of the Worlds, I mean, that movie was just terrible. That person was stuck in one place. Ice Cube is in just that room and Chris Pratt is in this chair reacting to AI judge played by Rebecca Fergeson. But Minority Report, such a fantastic movie. If Mercy had kind of taken that approach more so where he's on the run instead of stuck in one place, it might have been a bit better because with him stuck in one place, yes, he's in danger because his life can be taken within 90 minutes. And the movie itself is just about 90 minutes long. So everything that's happening in the film is pretty much the entire runtime of the film. He does actually have 90 minutes in order to figure out what's going to happen or he's going to be executed. But they don't have enough going on to truly make you feel like Chris Pratt's character is in any danger. But credit to him and Rebecca Fergeson and their back and forth. You do actually get pulled into the film. And I didn't actually check my watch to see how long the movie was. Luckily, there's a clock right in the corner of the film itself, which shows you the 90 minutes that Chris Pratt's character, has in order to prove his innocence. But still, I was thoroughly enjoyed enough to where I wasn't looking around and trying to figure out, well, how long is this movie, or I wasn't bored. So, credit to them to actually pulling you into the story, but the rest of it overall, it's kind of just there. It's The movie itself does kind of leave itself open to having a part 2, because in the end, the AI does, in my opinion, starts to gain self-consciousness, its own thing. And we see that in a few times in the film. And that kind of gives it a slight rewatch value, because now that you know that, you're going to go back and try to figure out, well, when did the AI start to develop that? Because the AI itself, played by Rebecca Fergeson, starts to help Chris Raven along the way. And it's slowly starting to gain its own consciousness, and you start to realize that. So now you're going to go back and rewatch the film maybe once in order to figure out, well, when did that happen along the way? Are there other types of events that made the AI start to do that, or what point you're going to ask yourself, when did the AI start to do that? This is one of those films that definitely should have been on streaming. It had every element and every chance to be great and to be one of those films that I would have argued, yeah, this could have been in theaters. But after watching it more than once, honestly, this is a film that definitely needs to be on streaming. They had all of the parts. They had a line that they could have crossed, and this could have went from good to being great, but they got right to the line and got too scared to pull the trigger. Maybe they just didn't want to max out the budget in order to do so. Who knows? We'll never know. We are not on the inside, and hopefully one day I will be. But this is a film that's just okay at best. It's good. It's worth a watch. Not a lot of rewatch value. I wouldn't say you need to rewatch it more than once. Watch it once, and if you want to watch it to check out the moment the AI starts to switch over to having a consciousness, then yeah, you can go back and rewatch it again. But outside of that, you're probably not going to rewatch this film. So it's one of those films that, like I said, could have been in a theater film, but it's definitely better on streaming. For a final verdict, it's one of those films that is on streaming, needs to be on streaming. Starring Chris Pratt, you know what you're going to get out of him. Rebecca Fergeson is pretty good. For me, it's a 6.5 out of 10. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's a pretty good movie, but it has almost no rewatch value, and it's definitely one of those films that definitely needs to be on the streaming. And honestly, like I said, the last 15 to 20 minutes, it's comical. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's comical, and it is very predictable. Pretty much the entire movie is predictable. It's good, but you're not going to rewatch it, honestly. So those are my thoughts on the movie Mercy, starring Chris Pratt. If you've seen it, what did you think? And if you haven't seen it, are you actually going to watch it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. I love you, and peace. See you next time.